Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing a get ready with me for my makeup. I was gonna do hair and makeup. I chat too long. So we're gonna do a part 2 of that and I will do my hair later. But this is what I've been doing. Oh my gosh, what's on my face? This is what I've been doing to my, for my makeup for a really long time. So I'm gonna share some new products I've been using. I'm a little spacey in this video because it was a crazy morning and I'm all over the place. So we're gonna rein it in. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm answering your questions. You guys asked a bunch of questions on my Instagram. So I wrote them all down. I got to half of them in this video and then I'll get to more of them in my hair video. So let's get started. I'm gonna take a look at my questions before I get started. And I'm just gonna kind of go do my makeup not quickly, but normal speed, and be talking to you guys about the questions, and then I'll list all the specific things that I use down below. But let's start talking. Okay, somebody asked about jobs that I had before I had kids. So in high school, I've had a lot of random jobs. I've worked since I was 16, and I was a waitress in high school. And then when I went to college, I waitressed there too. No, first the bar cart at golf courses, I did that. So I would drive the golf cart all the way around the golf course for hours and make drinks for the golfers and snacks. It was the sweetest job ever, honestly. So I did that for probably over a year in college. And I made such good money during tournaments and whatnot. And then I got a different waitressing job at a really nice restaurant up there. And a lot of tourists went there, because it was right on the beach. So I made really good money there. It was a steakhouse. And I worked there for the rest of my time in college. So I would work weekends and nights. And then when I graduated college, I was going to be a teacher. I went to school to become an elementary teacher. And then my senior year of college is when I started my YouTube channel. It was a different channel back then. It was Kendra J Makeup. I don't even think it's around anymore. I switched it. It's confusing. It was a long story. But I'm going to get some concealer. I started that in 2011. And I didn't tell anybody. I was embarrassed, and it was just not a thing back then. Not many people, influencer was not a word. Instagram kind of just had launched, so social media was pretty much just Facebook, and it was just if you were in college that you had a Facebook at that point. So at the time it was just fun, it wasn't a job. I wasn't making any money from it or anything. So I just wasn't sure if I wanted to do teaching still. And it's funny because Andrew was the only person who actually asked me that. He's like, do you really want to be a teacher? And I was like, I think so. I just had never really questioned it my whole life. From probably 3rd grade, I told everybody I wanted to be a teacher, and then that was that. So I never really thought of anything else. And I majored in communications, but I did all of my electives in child development and all the prereqs for the credential program. And I took my CBEST tests. I didn't take the CSET yet because I remember I was gonna take a year off because just to figure everything out. So during that year, I taught dance for little kids, and I was a traveling dance instructor. I would go to kindergartens and preschools, kindergarten classes and preschools, and teach them dance. And I remember just obviously it was different. It wouldn't be the same as teaching, but I didn't love it. And I remember just really loving YouTube. And I would look forward to getting home to film a video, and it was just my secret little space. But I remember after I had been doing YouTube for a few years, I started making some money from it, and Andrew was like, maybe you should do this full time, because I just couldn't really put all of my, I'm doing bronzer now. This is from Lily Lolo. I'll mention some of my favorite, I'm gonna look a little crazy until my eyebrows are on, but I'll mention a few of my favorite products from Detox Market because that's another question. Oh, this is one of them. the satin finishing powder from Alima Pure. I got it in the shade, I got the medium and light. The medium was too dark, so I ended up buying the light and mixing them together. So I have like both of them in here together. When I was married, I was waitressing. I had quit the dance job. So I was waitressing and I was a nanny at the same time. And it was just like a lot. And I just wanted something a little more stable and not like all over the place. And I remember it was so risky to like stop doing that. And I thought I was crazy and thinking like maybe I'll go into PR, which is so ironic now because I'm kind of on the other side of things. But, ooh, my coffee. It ended up working out, and I'm very grateful for Andrew because he's the one who kind of pushed me to do that. And he's just a very like go-getter, and he has a very like entrepreneurial personality, and I don't. So he kind of brought like the business side of it to me. For me, you know, like, it was just a hobby, fun. I'm a very creative person, so I just really enjoyed it, and he kind of helped me make it into a career, which is super cool. So thanks, Andrew. I know you're watching this. To answer your question, those are all my jobs before I had kids. And then I just take my bronzer onto my eyelids. Okay, the next question I got asked was, when am I gonna start Owen in, let's see my eyebrows. Oh, and I found this color from MAC, and it's a really good color for my eyebrows. It is espresso. So I've been using that for my brows now. Take a sip of this coffee. Let me chug. For the girls, they started preschool. Their birthday's in December, so they're like kind of in the middle. So they only did 6 months of preschool, which is why we're having them do TK in the fall. And then next year they will do kindergarten. And I think it'll be really good for them because they're still like adjusting to being in this social setting, and they still get nervous. Like poor Violet, she just is such a little sensitive soul and gets really anxious. So I don't know if it's been just everything that happened last year that's made her this way, since we haven't really, you know, we haven't gone many places in a whole year. So I don't know if that has affected how she's acting, or if it's just, you know, how she would have been regardless. But either way, it's been really hard to kind of like navigate it and figure out how to react to when she's getting really nervous, and it's been challenging. So I think a year of TK will be really good for them. And then Owen so his birthday's in July, but I liked keeping them at home until they were 4. It was just like a nice time to have with them. So I do want to do the same thing with Owen. So we'll wait until he is 4 to put him into preschool. And we still have somebody that comes 3 days a week in the mornings to help out. And it's been really life-changing. It just has allowed me, like, I just always feel like I can do everything myself, and like, why would I pay somebody to come when I can do it? But it really, like, it's hard because when you work from home, you just feel like, okay, well, I'm a stay-at-home mom, like I should just be able to take care of my kids, you know? And especially like my personality, it's very hard for me to let go of control. And it came to a point where I was like, I would be missing deadlines. I would be forgetting about campaigns. I would like be in a bad mood when Andrew would get home because I didn't get anything done. And just like not the nicest mom because I'm like, my head is in 2 places. And it was really hard last year. It was super hard. And I probably wouldn't have even looked to hire somebody if it weren't for Andrew too. I get very in my comfort zone, as you can tell, with a lot of things. And Andrew's the one who's always like, okay, we got to figure out a way to fix this. And so he said, you know, let's look for somebody to help out, or like get an assistant. Like, what would be an area that you could use help in? It's been great. I can now focus on things. My mind is clear. I am more on top of my life. It is hard though, because people don't, I feel like I almost like don't like saying this. It's not like you need to explain yourself, you know, but I feel like YouTubers and just like influencers in general, like I don't like that word very much, but it kind of has like a reputation. It didn't in the past. I think it's just more like recently because now it's kind of just like a lot of people can just do Instagram being an influencer. But for me, like I started as a YouTuber, so it's a much different thing. But anything around that, people kind of just like blow it off and think, oh, wouldn't that be nice to do? Like, which, yeah, I am very, very grateful to be able to stay at home and do the things that I do. I absolutely love it, like dream. But at the same time, people don't take you seriously for it, like people in my real life, because people don't understand it, which is totally fine. I don't understand a lot of people's jobs either, you know? So it's kind of like that took me a long time to come to terms with, to have to like explain it to people, and they're like, oh, you make money doing that? But then on the flip side, you know, that's all people in real life, like talking face to face. But then you get people online who will leave comments saying like, oh, another ad or whatever. And people don't understand that this is people's jobs and this is how you make money. It's like when you are watching TV and there are commercials, like that is the same thing. When you're listening to a podcast, there are ads. Like that is how people continue to do those things. Maybe because YouTube kind of started out like not like that and it just has shifted to more of that or something, but it is kind of funny. And I remember like having a hard time with that in the beginning. And Andrew's like, who cares? Like people don't understand. Okay, let me show you this blush. It's so beautiful. I got it from Detox Market this week actually. The brand is RMS Beauty. The color is Crushed Rose. It's like a super vibrant pink, but it is so pretty. You need like a few taps of that and it just gives you the most beautiful flush. I've been using one blush for a solid year and I'm over it. The Cover FX peach one, and I just wanted something new. So I treated myself to a blush. But back to the topic of YouTube and all that, it's tricky because, I mean, again, same with any job, you know, like people see the finished product, but nobody sees what goes on behind the scenes. And I think just over this past year, and now I've been doing this for like 10 years. So I think this past year has just made me realize like, who cares what anybody says to you? You know, like as long as you know what you're doing and you're killing it at life, then it really doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. There's no point in spending any energy, isn't that pretty? Any energy, like having to explain anything to people. Like, again, Andrew's very good at this. He's always like, we just can live our lives how we want to live our lives and nobody has to understand everything about it or like have, you know, whatever, like how we save money. Like we got crap from that. Okay, this is from Alima Pure. This is their highlighter. It's so pretty. We've gotten, you know, friends who don't understand, like when we were first trying to get out of debt, people would not understand why we wouldn't be able to go somewhere. And it's because we were really strict with ourselves and strict with our budget. And Andrew always told me, like, nobody will understand what we're doing because it's not going to be what everybody else is doing, but down the road, it's going to really benefit us and we will be like on the outside of it. And that's where we are now. And it is like such a crazy thing to look back on and see. Oh wait, this is awesome too. It's Sade Baron Beauty Balm. I use it just for my lip, like chapstick, and it's so good. But it just, you can't live your life like trying to please others and having to explain yourself to others. You know, just do what you want to do and what's right for you and your family. Okay, I'm gonna use my L'Oreal Voluminous Primer. I'm sitting on a little throw pillow right now. And then I'm gonna go in with the IT Cosmetics foundation. So yeah, that's something that Andrew and I have talked about a lot. Am I in the frame? So yeah, talked about a lot this year. And I think since having kids, that's really changed a lot too, because our priorities have shifted completely. Like all we really care about is our family and taking care of our family, protecting them, and creating memories with them. So, you know, sometimes you have to say no to certain things and just do what's best for you. So I got a lot of questions about like our debt-free journey and all that. I do think Andrew and I should do a video together talking about a lot, but we never really did a video kind of once we finally did get out of debt, which I thought we were going to do, but we never did. It was very like anticlimactic. I remember we were just thinking like, when this month happens, we'll be out of debt. And then like we never really, it just kind of happened and like passed. but actually Andrew did just get a Tesla. So we do have that car payment now. But for this past year, we've had no, oh no, my battery's dying. I got a new get a new battery. Since this past year, we paid off my car. So it has been super, super nice. So timeline for everything. So we got married back in 2012, and that's when Andrew started physical therapy school. So at the time he was going to school full time. He would take kind of odd jobs on the side, but I was at the time waitressing and nannying. And then, which is so funny because literally the lady we have who helps us, like I did the exact same thing for a family once Andrew and I got married. Same days a week, same time of day. Like it's just really, really ironic. I'm like, wow, this is so weird. And now I am that mom that I used to nanny for. It's super crazy. But after Andrew graduated, he then started working right away. And that's when we started paying down his loans. And it was a lot of money that we had to pay off, but we just put so much more than the minimum was each month. So that's how we were able to pay it off faster than like typical. So we would just throw like any extra money we had at loans. And then once those are paid off, same thing goes with my car. Any extra money we had, we would put towards my car just to pay that down quick. When I say debt free, we still have our mortgage on our house. So that's like the next thing that we try to throw extra money at. Yeah, so I mean, that was as of last year is when we finished everything. So 2020, so it took 8 years to pay everything off, but also not really 8 years because when he was in school, we weren't really like paying off the loans. So that was 3 years. So it was shorter than that. But yeah, it did feel like a really, really long time at the time, like when we were in it, but now looking back, it's like pretty awesome. A lot of people have been asking about my eyelashes. So I have been taking a new supplement that's for your hair, skin, and nails. That has really been helping. It's called Sulfurzyme. I've shared on my wellness account because it's Young Living. And then the other thing that I've been doing is using a DIY lash serum. My lash serum is castor oil, cedarwood, and lavender. Fixing my lashes, but I'm pretty much done. I just spray my face in with a little bit of mist or setting spray. So I'm gonna do a whole nother video for my hair because I'm done. Okay, I'm gonna comb those out and then I'm just gonna do my bottom lashes, and I'll do a little bit of eyeliner just to show you what I've been doing if I want. Like this is what I do after my mascara. Whoa, that was a lot of clump that came out. But sometimes if I want a little more something, I'll go in with a little more eyeshadow and eyeliner. Okay, I wanna end the video on this question that I'm just a mess right now. I love this question that somebody asked, and they said, what have you learned from each of your kids? So I kind of wrote down a few things because I love that question. It's so special. So all of our kids are so different. And I mentioned that Owen can tell the girls apart now, which is super cool. I've always said that you don't treat your kids the same. You treat them with you show them love with how they need it. Like I treat all the kids differently because they're all so different. So I'm not going to act one way to the other because that's maybe not what they need at the time. So I think it's just like a constant, like I'm constantly learning like the best way to approach them about certain things or whatnot. But they keep me on my toes, that's for sure. So I would say, let's start with Owen. What did I write down for him? Oh yeah, Owen has made me just like really mushy and emotional. I am not an emotional person. I am very logical and realistic, and I don't let my emotions ever like get the best of me for anything. But he has made me a little bit more soft, I guess you could say. And I tried to appreciate things more. I feel like he's made me a little bit more sentimental, and he just has a very sweet side to him. He's a Cancer and he feels things very deeply. I know he's not even 2 yet, but you just see it. Like, he can cry very easily about things, but not like a tantrum cry, like a sad, like sweet cry. And yes, he has kind of like this tough exterior. He's stocky and all that, but deep down he's very, very sweet and sensitive and just wants to cuddle with you and get love. So I think he has really taught me from a very young age, like from when he was a newborn, to just take a breath and relax and savor each moment. Because with the girls, it was survival for the first few months. And so I never got to experience those newborn feelings. I felt very gypped out of my first time being a mom, and most twin moms I've talked to feel the same way. They feel like kind of robbed of that time. And I was aware of that when I had Owen, so it made me even more, like, I wanted it more. I wanted to be there with him more. I'm gonna spray my face with this. This is the Mario Badescu facial spray. I also love this one. This is from Hanua. It's like Hawaiian skincare. And I also have the Young Living one. I like that one too. Actually, I'm gonna use this one. It smells good. Okay, let's go to June. June has really taught me to see the joy in life, and she is just so carefree and sweet and fun. She's such a good friend to other people, to Violet, to Owen. She is goofy, and with actually both of the girls, they have kind of shown me that I need to take the initiative more to like showing them affection, because again, like, I know I said I'm not very sentimental. I'm not very like touchy. I like don't like PDA, and it's funny because Andrew, like, physical touch is definitely one of his love languages, but the girls, like, they crave that. Like, they just want to cuddle and they want hugs like all the time. So they have really kind of forced me to get out of my comfort zone and like sit on the couch and cuddle with them and watching a show, because my nature is, if they're like sitting down, I want to like get up and go do stuff. So it takes a lot out of me to be like, just sit down and just be present with them. Like, they just want you, they just want to lay with you. And whenever I do, they're so happy. And the other night, like, I'm sitting on the couch and I just like, June was sitting at the end of the couch and I'm like, come here, and I like pull her close to me and just like cuddle her up, and she got so happy. And I'm like, it's so simple. So they've really helped me to like push out of my comfort zone and just show love. I feel like I'm not the best at showing my love. I think that's why gifts are one of my love languages, because that's a way I show love, but it almost is like safer, you know, where like, you know, giving somebody a hug or telling them how you feel is a little bit harder. So they have helped me with that. Okay, what did I write down for Violet? Oh yeah, I feel like she's shown me to, so I mentioned how she gets stressed. I always just have to reassure her that it's okay. We don't need to worry. I'm not gonna leave you. Like, she always thinks, what if don't leave me? Like, if she's trying to get her shoes on or something. And I always have to reassure her, like, we're not leaving you. We are always gonna wait for you. We will never leave the house. So it's almost like I have to be very verbal with things for her, and like, she needs to know the schedule, the plan. And so yeah, it's with both of them, they're so different. They react to things so differently. So I really have to be like in tune to each of them. I can't just do the same thing for both of them. It doesn't really work. I totally forgot I was going to do some eyeshadow. I'm just sitting here rambling. You guys are like, let's go finish your makeup. Okay. How long have we been talking? Good thing I didn't do my hair in this video too. So I have been using the Naked Reloaded palette. I just pretty much use these neutral colors. I'm just gonna put a little bit on my lid, focusing a little bit more on the outside. Is there one more question I could do while I do my eyeshadow and liner? For liner, I sometimes just go in with like a dark color and just pencil it around, or I'll do liquid. I don't want to do liquid today. But I'll just take my eyeliner brush after I do this shadow and just like line the upper lash. Woo! Somebody said best marriage advice because Andrew and I just had our 9-year anniversary this week. So I feel like that's fitting. I would say to, if you ever get frustrated with something that your spouse does, take a minute, take a breath, and see if there's something that you can do to change the situation before blaming them. I think we are all super quick to blame others. It's much easier to be like, why aren't you doing this for me? Why is this the way it is? Most of the time, if I find myself falling into that trap, usually there's something that I'm not doing either. Like, I'm not doing my part. So you can't expect your husband to serve you hand and foot if you're just not doing anything for them, you know? If you are always treating somebody well and being kind to them and listening to them, then they are more than likely going to be showing you that in return. So I think a lot of the time, especially when you're with somebody for a really long time, it's easy to just kind of get selfish and think, well, what about me? I should get this. But I think if you switch your perspective on that and think, them focused more, then it can really switch a lot and it makes you like kind of get out of that place. And that's always helped me. And usually then, like, if I'm like, I don't know, it can be super simple, like asking just how their day was, you know, like you can sometimes get into be like, well, why aren't they asking how, like, I had such a hard day, like I deserve this, blah, blah, blah. Well, they might have had a really hard day too, you know? So just like not being in your own head and talking about things. I think communication is just so important when you're married. Like, I used to hold stuff in a lot, and Andrew's really helped me to realize that it's so much healthier to say how you feel. If something's bothering you, let them know. Don't keep it in, because it'll just get worse and you'll come up with these scenarios in your head that probably aren't true. And Andrew and I rarely have fights now. Back like when we first started dating, when I would hold stuff in, I would get annoyed at things he would do or whatever it is. And now I'm not annoyed at anything he does. And if there ever is something, I just tell him straight up and he'll be like, oh, sorry. You know, like it's not a big deal. So I think just being open, it brings you closer when you do bring stuff up. And it doesn't always have to be a fight. It can just be like, hey, when you do that, it kind of bugs me. So maybe don't do it. Okay, I think I'm done. So this was fun and cathartic. Oh, and I also always curl my lashes. That gives them like an extra boost. I know they say you're not supposed to curl your lashes after you put mascara on, but I say I don't care because it works so much better. You may lose a lash or two, but it's worth it to me. I don't hold it on there very long. And then also once you curl them, sometimes you can put a little more mascara on and it gives them like a little extra boost. So that is it. I'm going to now do my hair. What time is it? Do I have time? Yes. I'm gonna do my hair really quick and you can see that part 2 up next. So I hope you guys all enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you very soon. Bye.